I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis Podcast. I am not your host, Brad Taschek. I'm your host, New Shaun. As Brad discussed last week or last podcast, he's taken a bit of a hiatus. The summers and the state of MMA will do that to a certain soul.
They're dropping.
Yeah, dropping like flies. I can't really blame them, but yeah, we obviously had a pretty damn good card, 10 days ago. We're just going to touch on, the important fights, the top two fights, and then we're going to chat about UFC Nashville, which, of course, we're back to headlining by some sloppy heavyweights. So we're back in gear.
At least we get some dudes that's probably gonna sloppily throw down. You know what I'm saying? Like, the state of the heavyweight division is just holy shit.
Yeah, it's amazing. How you doing, Wes?
Oh, not too bad. Trying to stay cool. It's hot as fucking hell, man. Brad is childless. So he's out enjoying life. We're not, so we're usually at home at 9:00 on a weekday. You know what I'm saying? So what else is there to do? But yeah, okay card, I guess this week. I feel like there's some good fights on it for a fight night card. That usually the one I usually always go to these Nashville cards, but Lance no longer lives in Nashville, so I don't really have anywhere to hang out and shit. And then the ticket prices are just crazy. Even though I've seen like this week that these ticket prices are actually dropping all over the place. So could get in there for probably a reasonable price now that people are like, fuck that. There's a lot of other things to do in Nashville on a Saturday night than pay $300 to sit nosebleeds for some cage fights.
Yeah, it's I guess it's good to see that the prices of some of these cards are dropping, because then people can actually go and not fucking have to sell a kidney.
Yeah, they came here. I didn't, but that they hadn't been here in so long. Like you go back to these same markets, like they go to Nashville pretty regularly. So they're just not. But they just they go to Kattar and sign the blood money check, and that makes up for all of that.
But yeah, the card's decent. It's better than Apex fight cards, so we can't complain when we get some all right fight cards for fight nights. But yeah, so obviously, sadly, 10 days ago or so, we our boy Du Bronx, it happened. We wanted to see if Topuria was the real deal and could do what pretty much nobody else has been able to do, and he did that. He flatlined him. Topuria is really fucking good, and I know it sucks that it's at the the detriment to one of our favorite fighters in Du Bronx, but the state of MMA kind of needs a guy like Topuria right now who is doing some great things and beating great fighters, and so it sucks that it had to be Du Bronx, but the dude's unreal. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, like his 4-fight run is pretty all time, like straight up. Like Josh Emmett was pretty tough fight, but he like styled in that and into knockout Volk, knockout Max, knockout Charles, like 3 dudes that don't get knocked out and just
there's
just finish them.
three Hall of Famers. Three Hall of Famers. Now, of course, he is getting them a bit later in their careers, and I know that is kind of one of the criticisms. But I mean, we know the trash goat was kind of doing that as well, catching a bunch of all-time greats a little later in their career, and eventually he's going to fight some young guys, and we'll obviously see if he's the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna, come on. Bones Run was all time. Like the guys, they were like later, but still like end of prime, I will say, because they were still, and you got guys like Vitor juiced out of his mind, and just he beat some guys. But this run is impressive. The Volk KO was kind of like, I think a lot of people kind of almost predicted that because he came back way too fast after. But like, take nothing away. That's Volk's a Hall of Famer. Charles a 150, massive 155 Hall of Famer, all time finish fucking dude in the UFC history. And to pull that off, man, like what impressed me the most, like the KO was sweet, but there was a moment really early where Charles got a hold of him, bodied him, and was going for a takedown. And Topuria just kind of like put a leg down and stopped it in his tracks and ended up on top of Doe Bronx. And I was right then and there, I was like, oh fuck, like it was not gonna be good. And then like the KO, like I watched some video breakdown of the finish and shit, some dudes, and like Topuria's been trying to land that same exact punch on everybody dude for a couple years now. And Charles set him up perfect, man. He didn't move his head, didn't get out of the way. He never even saw it coming. Like it was a beautiful combo. But Topuria is that dude, man. But you're right. Like if he's going to stay at 55 and shit, there's some like monsters there that are going to try to body him and shit. And I want to see fucking Makhachev. Like those are the two probably the two best fighters in the sport at this point. I don't want to see Mac and Cheese against fucking JD. And like, I want to see him against the best dude in the fucking sport. That's the fight. That could be like a pay-per-view that brings this fucking company back, like legitimately. I don't know what they're doing with that. Like, that's just a fumbled fucking bag, in my opinion. But I think Mac and Cheese beats that guy. Like, unless he can one punch fucking Makhachev like that, and maybe he can, but he's gonna have a monster on top of him. Like, that's a fight. Make that fight. That is the best fight that can be made in MMA right now, and it would be wild if they don't make that happen, man.
Unfortunately, I think the only way we see that fight is if Mac and Cheese loses and he comes back down to 55.
Yeah, I mean,
that takes away a lot of what it could be.
It doesn't mean the same. It does not mean the same.
When it's not going to be, number one versus number two pound for pound fighters.
It wouldn't be the same.
No,
I mean, I think Makhachev's got a really good shot to beat JDM, and maybe if he does win that fight and you make it after that. But who was they talking about? He ain't fighting Patty.
He might.
I don't know. I know he wants him, but I don't think they're not gonna sacrifice Patty. Like, he's a draw for them. They're not. He will get sacrificed in there against Topuria. But Albazi or who? I think there was somebody else that was being mentioned.
I mean, the three guys are Patty, Gaethje, and Sarukian, right?
Oh, Sarukian. Yeah, my bad. I said Albazi. Yeah, Sarukian. I mean, I don't know. None of that even, like, you name those three guys and like none of that does anything for me. Like, seriously, none of those guys do anything for me.
I'm interested in Sarukian just because he is a young guy and the type of fighter he is kind of like a Mac and Cheese light. And that might give us a good idea of what Topuria could do against Mac and Cheese.
I get it. Like, he's the guy that should get the fight if it's a 55er, but it just doesn't, knowing what's out there, knowing the matchup that is out there, it just doesn't do anything for me.
I know, but
Topuria, like, is that guy. He's that star. Like, I don't think people really realize that, like, how big that dude is in Europe and shit. He's a fucking massive star in Europe and Spain, in that area. It's kind of wild, man. The dude's backing it up. Like, people got to slow down though. Like, this guy isn't like Conor though. Like, I didn't like Conor at all, but that dude he's on a stratosphere of fame and shit that none of these guys are ever going to touch. Not even Topuria. It's not going to happen.
It's not possible even in this day and age, the way that the UFC is run. So it's not really a thing. I think it's more that, he has this kind of rise that, Conor did have a good rise and beat some legends and stuff like that, and was calling his shots. So it's, there are some similarities there, but like, no, he's never going to be Conor, but he could be the biggest guy in the UFC in the last, long time.
Conor was just lightning that struck at the right time. When they needed a star, he backed it up. Topuria is just not that guy. Topuria is too much of a nice guy to ever be Conor. He's too respectful to ever be Conor. Like, you have to have a mix of that. You have to be like an asshole.
But that's why I think they might do the Paddy fight, because he does actually hate Paddy and Paddy hates him. And
he just, even when he talks shit, he sounds too nice. He's still too respectful. Nobody could ever be Conor. Like, it just can't happen.
I know,
man.
but we don't need him to be Conor. We just need him to fucking kill dudes, and that's what he's doing.
And he's that guy. He's absolutely that guy.
So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm curious what they do, because they're pissed off at Sarukian for pulling out of the mac and cheese fight. So then they kind of put him on the back burner, and then
now he's showing up, making weight and shit for backup status, saying it wasn't Nina drama that broke my back. I got a bad sciatic and shit. Like, that's how it's ran. That's the company now, though, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it sucks that he's not probably gonna ever fight probably in Spain, because the UFC doesn't I guess have enough pull there, whatever it is.
Yeah, and they don't bow down to any place that's not gonna like suck their cocks.
Fork over the cash.
Straight up, yeah. And Spain's like, they're massive with that kind of sporting shit over. And I think they're like some highly taxed shit and stuff. Like, they're not gonna pay Dana $25 million to bring a fucking show over there.
Nope. But I don't know. Hopefully we get one more fight from him this year, and it'll be a monster. And I mean, he's kind of got something going for him that Conor didn't have, and a lot of people don't like him because he is beating a lot of everybody's favorite fighters, and he is incredibly cocky / confident, and that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But so I mean, he kind of gets the rub a bit that way. So people will maybe pay to see if he loses, and then the other people will pay to see him do unbelievable things.
I got a feeling it's going to be Gagey. I think they're going to serve him up Gagey, is what I think.
I mean, I know we'll get a highlight reel.
Gagey did open his mouth, and like Dana, of course, didn't like. They asked him about that, and don't say shit or you're going to piss him off. But I just got a feeling they're going to give him something to highlight reel next time out after this run. Yeah, I mean, if it's Sarukian, then I guess we'll have to be fine with that. It's not bad.
Yeah,
definitely not bad.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's tough to know what they're going to do, just because, okay, whoever gets it, then are you going to put the other two against each other? And, if they give it to Gaethje, then are you going to kill off one of Armin or Paddy? Like, that seems kind of dumb as well. So I don't know. It's a tough one. So I guess we will just sit back and see what the hell the UFC is going to do. Shout out to our boy Dan Tom. I know he's having a tough go this week. It's tough losing a furry best friend like that. So thanks for dropping in, Dan, and just got to do your thing, man.
Yep, that's our boy. That's
yes,
our
sir.
boy.
Other fight we'll talk about. Another one of our guys, Pantoja,
Legend.
makes it look easy, and it was, man. I didn't think it would be this easy. I mean, he was fucking out striking KKF in the first round, just chasing his ass all over the cage, and yeah, he made it look easy. Of course, we had to get the typical fucking casual Joe Rogan thinking that, you know, Pantoja's got gas and all this shit.
Yep, did it again.
Taking a breather for a minute or two, and then he does what Pantoja does and snatches that back, and then it's game over. What do you got on that one, Wes?
I mean, my boy Pantoja is like he's Hall of Famer. He's legitimately approaching like GOAT status of this weight. He might be there. Impressive, man. Like I've never been one to be like a big believer in KKF though. Like I kind of saw this. I thought it would be more like that Sakura fight, but Pantoja was just like, fuck this, and threw down with that dude and fucked him up, man. That was an impressive performance, man. Like this, can he start getting some respect? Like I know like the quote unquote hardcores like love Pantoja, but like generally in the mainstream, whatever that is in this sport, like he's just not talked about. And that guy is unfucking believable. He's like one of the smaller weight guys that actually fucking hurts guys and finish fights. Like, I love that guy. He's quickly moving up into my all-time fave rankings. I got a soft spot for legitimate Brazilian killers, though. I think the sport is always better when we have Brazilian champions and stuff. So Pantoja is awesome, and I think that next fight is going to be pretty insane, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he broke the record, or I forget if he tied or broke the record for most finishes at flyweight. Everybody, you know, the casuals complain that flyweights are boring because there's no finishes. Well, he fucking chokes a lot of people out, and even when he's not, he's in wild ass fights. That, you know, if they do go the distance, yeah, he's awesome. As for the next one against Van, I mean, I guess we'll see. It might be a little bit too soon for Van. The one nice thing about that is, you know, we see this happens a lot where, you know, a guy gets pushed a little bit too early. You're not going to get beat up too bad, I don't think, against Pantoja. You get beat up a little bit, but it's not like somebody's just going to, you know, knock you dead out or just drop you a bunch of times. Like, you might get beat up a little bit, and then he's probably going to get choked out. Like, if that's kind of Pantoja's path. So that's a learning experience. He's probably not going to take too much damage if it does go that way. So, I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing to rush Van, and he's an exciting fighter. He's coming in on short notice, doing the UFC a favor. And yeah, it was kind of cool that they, you know, put him in there, made the fight that night. Something we don't really ever see with the UFC, because they'll, you know, change their minds and do whatever suits their pocketbooks or whatever. But
then Joe Rogan got like happy trigger, like, oh shit, we're doing this tonight. Come on in, Patty. And we're like, no.
Yeah. Ilya was talking shit about Patty and Armin, but Joe Rogan's such a casual. He has no idea what the fuck's going on. So he's just like, oh yeah, you're talking about Patty. We'll bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in.
But yeah, like it's I mean, I guess we'll see what not many people can kind of stand up to Pantoja's game. I guess we'll see if Van can do it. I think Van kind of lacks the power at 25 to do any damage, as we kind of saw in the Royval fight. So I think he might be in for a bit of a tough night.
Yeah, I mean, there's a straight path for Pantoja getting this fight, but that's fine. I think you hit it right on the head with Van, though. He wins. They have one of the youngest champions in UFC history. You have a star. If he loses, he's 22 years old, you know, and he goes against Pantoja, who couldn't beat him up, but I don't think is going to beat him up any worse than Royval did. Like Royval, like, they beat the shit out of each other. Like Van got hit. Like it say something about Royval though. Like it sucks Royval actually lost that fight because I think he was about to win that fight until there was about 2 minutes left in it in the fifth
It was
round.
close. It was close.
I think he was on. I can't remember what the scorecards were, but I think the fifth decided it, and like he was outpacing him in the fifth, and then got clipped. And Van won the fight. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, like that could be a fun fight, but it's too much too early in my opinion. And I really like Van. I mean, I was talking that night. There wasn't a couple weeks back. Like I bet Royval, but 3 weeks before that, I was doing open fellatio on Josh Van when he was beating the shit out of whoever he fought a few weeks ago. But yeah, the kid's insane. But man, Pantoja's like a legitimate Hall of Famer, probably the GOAT of this division at this point. So, but I think Van is absolutely future champ material for sure. I mean, he's got another 12, 15 years in the sport.
He can just outlast Pantoja till he retires, and then he might.
Dudes are gonna have to, and like DC, and then like he's not tired, bro. Like y'all have called his fights. You've been cage side watching that dude within 5 feet of you, fucking slumber forward like a zombie, just throwing bungalows. Like he's not. That's Pantoja, man.
That it is. All right, we're going to move on to this week. UFC Nashville. What do we got? We got a nice 12 fight card. We'll see if it lasts by fight day, but we got 12 fights to break down. And we're starting off in the women's strawweight division, and we got a minus 1,400 favorite, Wes. Fatima Klein taking on Melissa Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, Martinez is terrible. Probably gets smoked here, but like, I mean, I think I'm so far out of tout master. Like, how are you not taking like these points in a chick fight? It's like this Fatima Klein chick just got. I mean, didn't she get like beat by the Canadian fucking steroid job who's out there bodying people like GSP? Yeah, I mean, Klein probably wins. I'm gonna pick Martinez and Toutmaster. The over here is like minus 145 in some spots and shit. I mean, Martinez sucks, but like it feels like this is just gonna be like Fatima on top of her on the ground, just trying to get a sub for 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I need something to start the card off. Over 2.5 in a women's fight at minus 145 doesn't seem like too bad.
Yeah, the Jazz DeVicious fight was at flyweight. Now that she's fighting at strawweight, so
yeah.
But yeah, she probably smokes her. Obviously, looking at the odds, that's probably what she does. But you know,
it's crazy.
minus 145 for an over, even if she does win, might not be a bad look. I mean, you can even get plus money on Klein by decision. So,
yep,
it's probably the way I would go if I really had to degen on this fight. I will not. Speaking of massive favorites, we got another one. We got in the lightweight division, Mike Davis minus 1,000 taking on Mitch Ramirez. Why is Mike Davis fighting Mitch Ramirez?
This is the UFC, man. Like, this is the state of it. And on top of it, Mike Davis is minus 1,000 to anybody is just wild. I mean, I'm not betting Mitch Ramirez, like that's for fucking sure. I mean, it's another one to me where Mike Davis probably gets this guy out of there at some point, but like, who fucking knows, man? It's Mike Davis. He just lost to Ziem last time out, going life and death with Code Soup a couple years back. Like, I don't know. And then Ramirez is the Moises leg kicking him to death and shit. Yeah, who knows, man? The under is just a little bit too juicy, or I would probably take a little bit under 2.5, but I'm not laying minus 165 on that either. So this is probably just a complete pass for me, but I'm gonna pick Ramirez and Talmaster because Mike Davis should not be minus 1,000 anyone.
He probably shouldn't be minus 1,000, but I think he's going to win. He's going to get takedowns here. And if you can get takedowns, that makes, the upset a lot less likely. So kind of get it. But yeah, minus 1,000 is something. But it seems like we're kind of shifting closer and closer to boxing odds these days with some random matchups on these cards. But
a lot more volatile than boxing will ever be, though. So they better be careful with that.
Yeah, they can't go too far because that is correct. And we got to get fatties out there. We got in the heavyweight division, Kenny Nunchucks taking on Walter Walker. You got Wes.
Man, look. This Walker guy is fucking terrible. Like I don't think Kenny's like some title top 10 guy or anything. Don't get me wrong, but like Walker's winning by heel hooks on Junior Tafa and the worst thing to ever come out of Louisville, Kentucky, Dontel Mays. Like going 15 and losing to fucking Brzezinski and shit. Like this guy's horrible. Kenny can actually slang him a little bit. So, like, I like Kenny in this spot. I don't know if I'm going to parlay him. Like, minus 200 seems about right in this spot to me. But I do like the under. I think Kenny's going to clock this guy. And Walker still does have those dumbass leg locks and shit he can do on the ground. So, if it does get there, I mean, these big guys are quick to fucking just tap out to that shit. Way quicker than smaller guys are. So who knows? But I think Kenny clocks him here and under 2.5 and big boy fight of these guys who just killed or be killed. Man, that seems like a pretty good price to me. So I'll be on the under 2.5 for regular play, and I might put Kenny in something. Like I think he catches him here.
So Brad and I broke down Walker's last fight, and we were making fun of him with the heel hooks, but we were just contemplating whether he's going to be able to pull it off again. And of course, he was fighting a guy that had been heel hooked before, so we should have known better. You look at old Kenny Nunchucks' record, and he's not getting heel hooked. All right, He got subbed by the old Bear Jew by a triangle. But
who doesn't?
He didn't get heel hooked. So likely Kennedy gets him and gets him out of there. I guess there's a chance that old Walker gets some takedowns and grabs something from on top. I'll probably pick Kenny Nunchucks, but I don't mind that under 2.5 at pick'em odds. Low level heavyweights that both kind of have a path. Don't mind that at pick'em odds. So I'll probably join you, and
seems good.
We're gonna be hating ourselves after
when it goes 15
minutes, when they're both gassed and can't fucking do anything.
Kenny's laying on him on the cage.
Yeah, just sweating and leaning and doing a whole lot of nothing. Oh, great! We got a retirement fight, and it's a women's flyweight fight. So we're in for another one. Eduardo Mora minus 600 over Lauren Murphy, who is done ski after this.
Yeah, I mean, look, if this wasn't like I'm done with this shit fight, I would probably throw a half shot on Lauren Murphy here. Mora is just another chick fighter. She's minus 600 in against like as tough as they come in Lauren Murphy, like win or lose, that chick is going to be in the fight. This price just seems kind of crazy to me, but retirement fight, those go one or two ways. You really don't want to be there no more, or you try to go out on your shield in your last fight. Who fucking knows? I just can't. I can't do it. Not on Lauren Murphy in this spot. Will be a pick and top master again, but minus 600 on fucking this chick is kind of crazy.
Lauren Murphy's been out for a year and a half. Still have no idea how Andrade wasn't able to put her away.
That was crazy, dog.
I had the distance, so of
I
course
did too.
She just beat the living fuck out of Lauren Murphy, and it went to decision. Mora probably gets takedowns and beats her, but I could care less, and I guess we won't have to watch Lauren Murphy do Lauren Murphy things anymore. So that's a plus, I guess. I don't know. Much more exciting fight. Welterweight division, we got Chidi Njokuani taking on Jake Matthews, who I don't know. I feel like you bet both these guys a lot, and so I feel like you should kind of have a good idea what's going to happen here. Wes, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm coming to a crossroads in this fight because you want to talk about betting a fighter every single time out, win or lose, for like years now. It's these two. I mean, they've both been good to me lately. Like they're both on a okay winning streak. I know Jake Matthews ran into Michael Morales, who is an absolute fucking stone cold killer. We know now. Last time out was a very impressive performance against Prado. Matthews threw down a little bit with him. I think here it's fairly easy, man. Like I think Matthews could win the fight on the feet. I think his striking is just tighter, but man, we know what happens if he gets clock clean, and Chidi does bang. Like that guy uses his length well and connects on the ends of his punches. But you can get in on him, man. You can body him. You can take him down with ease. Chidi can be taken down. If Matthews employs that game plan, I think he's got an easy road to a win here. Will he do that? Sometimes he sticks to the plan. Sometimes he wants to be fucking pro boxer. And I don't think that's a good path for him here. Dog price just has me betting Jake Matthews in this spot. And I love Chidi, man. But plus number, I think that's the clearest path here is Matthews getting inside and going for takedowns. So I'm going to take a small shot on Jake Matthews here to continue that run of betting him every fight.
I'm just not convinced he's going to wrestle. And, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, I thought he should have probably wrestled against Prado, and he didn't. And
this is a different guy too to be like swinging with. Not that he can't win like a kickboxing striking match. He can, but man, that's just not a place to be with Chidi.
Just dicey. You look at Matthews' losses in the last 5 years. Morales won, not bad. Sean Brady, not bad, obviously. Matthew Semmelsberger dropped him 3 different times. That is the concerning one. Chidi's got big power. He's finally in the correct weight class at 170. He's got big reach advantage over almost everybody in this division. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage against Jake here. He is old. That is concerning.
Getting up there.
We're gonna talk about a bunch of old versus young guys later on this card, but he's pushing 37 now, or almost 37. I know our boy Maddie is on Chidi, so that's a bit concerning if you're looking to take Matthews. So I'll probably pick Chidi. I think I'm going to stay away. I think it's a volatile fight because I do think if he goes for takedowns, he's going to have a big advantage. But if he doesn't, I think Chidi's going to catch him. So I'll stay away, and at least one of my buddies is going to win some money on that fight. And we're staying at 170. Chris Curtis coming down in weight, fighting 170 for the first time in a very, very long time. Coming off a knockout loss, and he's a -300 favorite. He is fighting Max Griffin, so maybe. But what do you got, Wes?
Yeah, it's a talk about another dude that's starting to get up there. Chris Curtis, 37, just been in some absolute brawls in his UFC career up until this point. Both of these guys lately have seemed like they're dudes that are winning a fight until they're like not. Like Max Griffin is like winning almost every fight he's in until he's fucking not. This just feels like the line is a little wide, man. I don't know if I can bring myself to bet Max Griffin, but I just, even Griffin with his finishes, like it's still, he gets hurt a little bit, but he's only been, I guess, choked out by Chiesa like his last time out. Been off for over a year now. But he loses these close late decisions and shit and gives fights away. Curtis is just the 37-year-old guy here that's taken a lot of damage over the past 4 or 5 years coming off. He's had completely torn hamstring that he's coming back from and shit. Like, it just seems like a guy that's being worn down. And even though Max Griffin's the older dude here, it doesn't seem like it in cage years to me, but it's a close fight, man. It's another volatile fight. If I had to pick somebody to be dog or pass for me, Griffin would be a pick and time master, but I'm just not sure I can pull the trigger here. Curtis is still a fairly skilled fighter who brings it, and Griffin just likes to give fights away.
Jeff, you're talking about Chris Curtis not having a ground game. He has pretty good takedown defense. He might not have a ground game, but
he keeps it where he wants it.
There are a lot of 85ers that struggle to get him down. But
his cage clinching game too is insane. Like, that guy can hold you against. His grappling's not necessarily bad.
Yeah. There's just a couple old dudes. Chris Curtis cutting down to 170 for the first time in a very long time at almost 37 years old, or almost 38 years old. I don't know. Is he gonna make weight? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, he's a pro. He's making weight. He makes it.
So
I hear you though. He's 30. He's 37, and yeah,
it's not great. Is he shrinking down properly?
Because he's a big dude. Like, he's muscular.
Big dude. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. It's a stay away fight for me. I'll pick Chris Curtis, but I could see this being a very close fight. Max Griffin kind of somehow has some close fights. I know Ozzy talked about a split decision prop by Max. It's probably not a bad thing to take, but the pick for me will be Chris Curtis.
Even Max decision at plus 600. I think either way you like him, this is probably going 15.
Yeah, no, like Chris Curtis. Who's finished Chris Curtis? Like, he got finished the last time, but like, other than that, he's taking some good beatings, and he's not getting taken out by some big ass 185ers. So Max Griffin isn't some elite hitter at 170. So I'm thinking this goes to decision regardless. We're on to the main card, and of course, we're gonna start out not in the heavyweight division. Junior Tathas decided to show that he under that fat he did have an ab or two. He's taking on Tuco Tokos. What do you got, Wes?
We're close enough to heavyweight in this one. And speaking of that, I kind of like the over in this fight. I like the over 1.5. Like, neither of these dudes are really any kind of finishers. Like, Junior Taffa got the heel hook against Walker, but like, that dude took that fight. He had a behemoth on top of him. You know what I'm saying? This guy's like, Walker's massive compared to Junior Taffa, man. And Tukos is like a smaller 205er. 15 minutes with Navajo Sterling. They did a whole lot of fucking nothing. If he doesn't get like subbed by Junior Taffa, I think these dudes fucking stare at each other, throw fucking calf kicks and shit for a little bit. So I like the over at plus money. I was hoping the fight starts round 2 was a little bit better price. I don't think everywhere has released that yet. If I can get that in the minus 145 range or so, I'm hammering that. I think this absolutely goes to the second round, and we'll have a play on the over 1.5 as well.
Yeah, I don't think Toph is going to be subbing anybody in
Nope.
this lifetime. That's for goddamn sure. So I don't mind it. We'll call it fatties. It's not really fatties, but over 1.5 at plus money is probably a good play in this fight. I know they got some finishes, but we'll see. I think this could get boring, and that's what
This
we
might go
want.
15, bro. Like this fight is one that might go 15 minutes. I'm telling you, be a shitty 15 minutes of a bunch of fucking nothing. I'm telling you.
That's what we should get for putting these guys to start the main card. So let's manifest that shit to happen. Holy shit, we got another heavyweight fight. We got Victor Petrino taking on Austin Lane.
Somebody should die here at least. You know what I'm saying? That's one good thing.
Yep.
Now you want to talk about a favorite that should probably be minus 700. Petrino should probably be minus 700. I think he's gonna dead Austin Lane here. Fight ends in round 1. I think it's like round even money. I think Petrino round 1 KO is plus money. I don't mind either one of those. I think this fight is absolutely over in the first round, either which way. If you can get that at even money, that's a play for me. And then I'll probably have Petrino a little bit around 1 KO.
Petrino never finished a guy in the first round in the UFC West.
This is a different guy. This dude is terrible. Terrible. Chin.
He's coming off getting knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. That's not a great look, but I don't know.
Jacoby's a world-class kickboxer, man. Like,
he is, but he doesn't I don't know. Jacoby's a weird one because I feel like he gets some
Anthony
finishes.
Smith choked him.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith choked him out in the first. If Lane gets a hold of him and fucking grabs his neck, that's even better.
Lane is not choking.
I know he's getting knocked out, bro. I'm telling you just gotta hope Petrino throws because there's been a couple fights to where he hasn't thrown in the first round. I think he knows he's got to go out there and throw though, and Lane is bad, man. Lane gets touched and wants to fucking fall asleep badly. So we'll see.
It's interesting. It's fucking bad. I don't know. My concern about the round 1 would be, both these guys coming off of KO losses. Are they going to be hesitant? This is going to get boring. Not much happens for the first, 5-6 minutes. I think you're probably right. Pacino probably forces something and he probably wins, but minus 700 on a shitty heavyweight. I don't know. It's not a great look either, but
you couldn't give me 20-1 on Austin Lane, Jeff.
Oh, come on.
That guy is fucking bad. He might be one of the worst fighters on the UFC roster. No bullshit. That guy's terrible. Fucking horrible.
So he has one win in the actual UFC, and that is against the karate fraud in the Spain.
Who now is deading the guy just wouldn't throw a punch at him. He looked like Ngannou versus fucking Black Beast. That dude refused to throw a punch against Lane, and they gave the fight to Lane.
Absolutely no ground game either. So
and then gets knocked out. Dudes just touch him and he fucking is hurt, dog. That he's bad.
Yeah,
bad.
He is UFC heavyweights in 2025. That's who he is.
Not that Petrino's good, but Petrino can at least throw a punch. And Aussie said, sub, the dude's got a Brazilian black belt. Dude doesn't use it, but Lane ain't subbing nobody.
No. Oh, the choice. All right. Well, we're going down to a much, much more fun division. Featherweight, we got Nate the Train Landwehr taking on Morgan Charrier. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, just kind of a theme on this card for me in my past couple years so far, to where I like a dog here in the matchup, but it's a 37-year-old dude against a 29-year-old dude. And that is just like a bad combination in this sport nowadays. Like guys, a decade, it's almost like 80% or some shit like that. But like any kind of age discrepancy over a few years, they're winning at 60 something percent. It's some stupid numbers. And that's just been killing me, man. I like a lot of these kind of veteran dogs that we get prices on, and they just haven't been coming through like they did in the previous few years. So I mean, I like Nate the Train here in the matchup portion of it. I just think we've seen Charrier have problems with guys that stay in fights, put a pace on him. He can tire at the end of them, and Nate doesn't tire. Nate's coming forward. Is he going to get clipped? You know what I'm saying? So we start to see Nate get clipped lately, and Morgan can throw a little bit, but man, at that price, I think we've kind of seen a formula to beat Charrier at this point in his career. Can Nate do that? I don't know. Charrier's only 29, like we talked. He's definitely going to get better from fight to fight, but at plus 230 or so out there, man, I just feel like this is a place I got to take a small shot on Nate the Train.
I want to be right there with you, but fuck, man. Landwehr has taken a lot of damage in his career. Has got caught with some flying knees and elbows and shit like that. And,
yeah,
you know, I don't think Charrier is amazing. He's lost a shit ton of times. But, you know, he is 7 years younger. He does have some very nice finishes. Seems like he has a decent amount of power. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he catches Nate Landwehr, but if you're watching live, this is probably a good live betting opportunity, because I think if Landwehr gets out of the first, then he's got a good shot at winning. So that is kind of the direction that I would go. But pre-fight,
very good live spot, probably.
Yeah, pre-fight, I'll pass, but that would be the tactic that I would use in that fight. Should be a fun one here. Staying at featherweight, Calvin Kattar. Is his skull gonna stop the Steve Garcia KO round one train? Wes?
Man, Steve Garcia is on like a pretty good run. Like I wouldn't say the competition is like sky high, but he's doing what he should be doing. Kattar's on the opposite end of that, on like about as bad as run as you can have, but it's against like some of the top of the division. It's wild to me to look now, and Calvin Kattar is 37 years old. And it was probably 7-8 years ago, he was talking like, this guy might be champion of this division one day. He was talking about his boxing skills, of course, in his hands. And he just, I don't know what it is. He never could get over that hump, man. There was just guys that seemed like they evolved their games, and he never did. He's kind of the same guy he's always been. Now it just doesn't seem like he even lets his hands go as much and stuff, but he's a tough fucking dude, man. And I favor Steve Garcia in this fight. I just think Steve Garcia is probably going to throw more stuff. He's probably going to land the sort of bigger stuff. His leg kicks are going to seem big and stuff, and he'll just land the more impactful strikes. But I don't think he like finishes Kattar. Me and Shaun was talking before the show, like we don't even know if Kattar's ever even been like dropped in a fight, much less like hurt bad. He did have the injury against Arnold Allen, and that's like the only time he's ever been finished. So the over 1.5 in this fight is like minus 145, and that seems absolutely insane to me. I do not see Steve Garcia finishing Calvin Kattar that quick, much less the entire fight. Like I kind of like Steve Garcia by decision here, which is a pretty nice price as well. But that over 1.5 just seems wild. Like Kattar's never been a finishing guy either. Even if he like ekes out a decision in this fight, it's just going to be by him throwing a little bit more volume than he's thrown here in his recent fights. But he doesn't have like one shot power, and Garcia's got a pretty insane chin. So Over 1.5 on this fight is my favorite play the entire night. I will be hammering that on a card that seems like it's got landmines everywhere. I really like that play.
It's wild to see that Steve Garcia is a favorite to Calvin Kattar, just kind of based on who these guys have fought. And I think this is just one of those things where one is on the steep decline, one is on the, a decent incline. I don't think Steve Garcia is amazing. Like he's gonna, finally meet somebody at some point, and then he'll, rightfully lose. But he is running through these guys. Like he is knocking these dudes out.
Doing what he should. Definitely impressive, but it's not like he's doing it against guys that Kattar has even fought,
No,
but still,
of course not.
It's still impressive to perform like that against your competition, regardless.
He only can beat whoever the UFC puts in front of him. And he's knocking them out. Every last 5 of them, he's knocked out. Kattar's chin is one of the better ones that we've seen. Obviously took that hellacious beating from Max Holloway, and took absolute bombs from Josh Emmett. He's took a lot. And really, the only time he's been finished is the injury against Arnold Allen, and then obviously he got subbed earlier in his career. But I think he will be tough enough to get over 1.5 here. My guess is this goes to decision. Steve Garcia is just going to throw way more volume. Kattar just has kind of poor striking accuracy. He throws a lot but misses a lot, and I think Garcia is going to be the one that's landing more, landing harder, and that's going to get him the decision. I can get minus 146 on the over 1.5. That's going to be what I'm taking. The wider lines is minus 160 for in a bunch of places. I know DraftKings got minus 154. It's going to be the consensus bet of the week.
Laying chalk.
Kattar versus Garcia over 1.5 minus 160.
Yeah, Garcia decision at DraftKings is plus 400, and I think if you like Garcia in this spot, that's worth like at least a small sprinkle.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take Garcia, I think you got to sprinkle on that. Like Garcia by KO is plus 220, I think.
Yeah, he's priced like he's knocking out Calvin Kattar, and
literally no one has dropped Calvin Kattar. I know Garcia's got power, but.
And we talk about like damage and stuff adding up, and damage has added up a little bit on Kattar. He's 37. He's been in some brawls, but he's never been like hurt bad, like concussed type bad in his career. Like those add up like badly for guys that get chinny. I don't think Kattar's at all chinny at this point.
Which is wild to think about because he's taken a lot of damage. So I don't know. Maybe Garcia is this monster with big power, and the damage is added up. But I would be very surprised if he's just able to dispose of him in the first round. So that's going to be consensus. We'll see if we can mush another one. We're on to the co-main event in the welterweight division. We got the oldest guy on the roster, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, taking on Gabriel Bonfim. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, another one of old guy versus young guy with a very drastic age difference here. It's what, like 15 years?
14 years, yeah. 14 and a half years.
Whew. That is not good. Yeah, if that wasn't the case, I'd have to take a little Wonder Boy at over 3-1. I like Bonfim and all. We've seen him. The Dalby's fight is just different than what a Wonder Boy fight is going to be, of course, but I know Wonder Boy's got like the style that can eke out a decision against him here. I just don't know if Wonder Boy can still implement that kind of point fighting style enough for 15 minutes anymore. Especially a guy this young, that's going to be way quicker than him and stuff. I can't bring myself to do it. I really want to bet Wonder Boy at a price like that. But yeah, I think Bonfim probably just hits him more, man. Like Wonder Boy just doesn't seem like he can get out of the way of the stuff like he used to. 42, I guess we see why. So yeah, Bonfim probably wins this here, but man, like I would still be worried about laying minus 400 and something on this kid right now. Especially just against a crafty guy like Wonder Boy. You never know when Wonder Boy can pull out a performance. That guy's caught me so many times. I've been on the wrong end of betting on that guy, betting against that guy so many times, because you just never know when that dude's just, his style's going to fuck somebody up. They're just not going to know what to do for it. And I just don't want to be on that end of a Wonder Boy fight again. So can't lay minus 400 on Bonfim, but he probably gets a win in this fight.
Yeah, it's tough because, earlier for a lot of Wonder Boy's, career, he showed pretty good takedown defense against some decent wrestlers. And that's kind of fallen away in the last couple of years. Now, of course, some of those guys, Bilal Muhammad, those are very good takedown guys. Shavkat, he's got pretty good takedown defense. The one that's concerning is Buckley was able to get him down 4 times. Now, that Buckley fight, you look at the scorecards when, of course, he got finished in the third, but heading into the third, it was split. So
yep.
He was up 2 on one card, Buckley was up 2, and then the other one was split. So if he wins that third round, he beats Buckley. So it's obviously he got knocked the fuck out, and that can happen. But he was in a competitive fight against Joaquin Buckley, and that was 9 months ago. I think if you're laying the juice on Bonfim, you got to be pretty confident that he's gonna be able to take Wonder Boy down.
Yep.
The guys that have taken him down haven't really subbed him. Like he seems to have decent sub defense. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a bit of a closer fight. I don't see many great opportunities. I might throw just a half shot on Wonder Boy. That is a big number. I'm still not convinced that Gabriel Bonfim is some elite fighter. And this matchup, I'm not sold that Bonfim is just going to run him over and get him out of there. So at plus, 325, 330, I might just take a half shot and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that 14-year age difference is obscene. And I think that has a lot to do with the line. So we will see. On to the main event. We got the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, taking on Talisson Teixeira. What do you got, Wes?
What are we going down? Is he top 10? Like we're not doing top 5 anymore. We just gotta move it down a tiny bit. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about getting back to swinging and banging. I think these two dudes are gonna swing it out. This fucking Teixeira guy likes to fucking throw hands, and he better connect with Black Beast before Black Beast puts one on his chin. I think one of these dudes is probably going out fairly quick. I've had my thing with Derek Lewis for probably a decade now, but now that he's like towards the end of the show, why not just take a little Black Beast KO for old Lance and Brad time's sake? Let's do it. Hopefully he connects on this guy before he connects on Lewis, because Lewis will turn around and say fuck this and take a couple to the back, and we'll get out of a fight. So yeah, hope Lewis lands one. I think if he does, he can hurt this guy. Not sure what round 1 is. Lewis in round 1, there's some plus 600, plus 700 out there. Don't mind that. Yeah, Lewis round 1 KO is plus 800, I believe. That's probably worth a little stab. Half on that, half on Derek Lewis, just KO, and hopefully he lands before Teixeira lands on him. Should be fun though. Should be a fun heavyweight fight.
Yeah, this is just one where I think, we got to see. I'm paying to see what's going to happen here. Teixeira has never been out of the first round. Longest fight is like 4.5 minutes or so. Most of his fights have ended in less than a minute. If he comes out and just flatlines the Black Beast, so be it. But to do that, he's gonna have to come into the pocket. And that's where
he's fought nobody that punches like this ever.
No.
Never fought anybody that punches like Derek Lewis. Not once.
Nope. There is a 15-year age gap, which is obviously
that matters a lot less at heavyweight, but still.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I guess I think there's a lot of unknowns, and they're just chalking them up as a minus 280, 290 favorite. I know Lewis is, he's degraded over the years. He used to, smoke anybody that was outside the top 5, and he had that rough streak. But this guy, I don't think is going to take him down. These guys are going to brawl, and in a brawl, you're giving me like plus 333 on Derek Lewis to knock somebody out. I don't think that's a bad price. It's interesting because
he will get the fuck out of there nowadays. So if he takes a clean shot, like he won't.
Yeah,
he won't fuck around.
He's there for a paycheck. So I mean, I'm not counting on him to fight for my dollars. But that being said,
he'll swing for your dollars.
He'll swing for my dollars.
Yeah.
And if this extends, man, who am I going to trust? Who are you going to trust more? An absolute unknown that's never fought in the second round, or Derek Lewis, who, to his credit, he's got a shit ton of late, like third round finishes, he's got some fourth round finishes. Like he conserves energy. He makes, intelligent choices. So if this extends, I don't mind it for Derek Lewis either. So
he'll lay on his back and say, "I have no neck. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm gonna end the round here."
And then at some point he'll pull up his shorts and decide to get up if he is on the bottom or whatever, and then it's back to swinging and banging. So I took Derek Lewis by TKO plus 333 for 2 units.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I think he's obviously got a puncher's chance, and that number is wild to me for a relatively unknown, very young heavyweight. So let's do it. And that's going to do it for this week anyway. Next week we got UFC 318, which is, as I tweeted about, is a pretty rough one. There's 2 top 10 fighters on that pay-per-view card, which is that's rough. That's pretty sad. I'm not saying there's not going to be some fun fights. There's going to be some brawls on there. It's going to be good. It's just not too much that's going to matter in the long run. But
that's just what they're charging you for your money nowadays.
Yeah.
But next week we also get to start that with a little Usyk versus Dubois, and then I think we got a little boxing at night. There's a good boxing weekend next weekend. You even got Manny Pacquiao coming back and fight next weekend. Like it's a pretty good boxing weekend next weekend.
Yes, sir. So there'll be at least some good fights to watch, whether it's
Max and Dustin's a hell of a fight.
I mean, of course, that's
a hell of a fight. But that's like a boxing card at this point. Like the UFC pay-per-views are turning into boxing pay-per-views, and what all MMA fans bitched about or clowned on boxing about for 2 decades now.
Yep. But that is the reality. So we will see, and we will be back next week to break those fights. whatever. They'll be fun fights, like we said. It's just not much that's going to matter. So we will see you then.
Peace.